Savage Ventures. So you said a couple weeks ago that one of the biggest parts of transitioning from Ford to Chevy was just the different types of data that you get. I was curious where that stands now, a couple weeks later, especially coming to Talladega, where it's just straight into qualifying without practice.
Yeah, I think it's not just the data, but it's the tools, right? And the tools and the processes. I think that it's just like any tool, like tools that you guys use, whether it's new programs or new apps or things like that, is they all do somewhat the same thing, but there's some nuances that you have to figure out. And I felt like that's where we were at on the 71 team, because we were so new. That group was so new of understanding the tools. And you get used to, knowing, okay, I need a little bit, the tools are saying this, but I need to be a little bit freer, or I need to be a little tighter, or it won't be that low onto the racetrack. And then you get new tools, and in some areas are more accurate. In some areas, they give you a little bit different result. And so understanding that and being able to adapt to that is kind of that transition that we were in. And I'm sure there'll be more circumstances that we are still in. But I feel like we got a good grasp on what we need to do and where we've missed it and where we haven't, where we've done a good job with the tools. So I think that that's all coming together. But it just takes time. Anytime that you have a whole lot more or new information and new tools to sort through it, it takes a little while to have that human factor of, what's what.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Michael, can you evaluate your season thus far? I know it probably hasn't gone as well as you had hoped, and how do you guys maximize moving forward through now the rest of the season without a break?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that 2 weeks ago I would have told you that we were probably on pace with what we had hoped or had expectations for. The last few weeks we've kind of dipped down, which isn't fun, but we know why, and it's kind of a part of the learning curve. Unfortunately, we had to learn some things, the hard way by having a couple bad weekends. But overall, with the program, I feel really good. I feel really good with our cars and the speed that our cars have had. To be honest with you, not one of our cars has executed a perfect race, and yet we still have had a lot of speed and we've had some good results. So I think that we have the potential to go out there and really, score a lot of points and put ourselves in position. So I feel good about that. And you know how racers are, where our expectations are always a little bit off, right? Your expectations are always high to go out there and win early on and build that momentum. And so the transition has been, I don't want to say harder than I expected, but there's probably been a few more challenges than I thought we would encounter. And so I feel like we've gotten over that hump now, and now it's time to go down to business and get some results and start stacking points. And this weekend isn't about that. It's about putting ourselves in position to win. We know that this is an important race for us to put ourselves in position to win. But the next few weeks is about building momentum and getting top 10s and top 5s and building towards that summer when you know that it's going to get down to crunch time, heading into the playoffs.